I don't know other countries, but when it comes to peace within North Korean context, that means silence of North Korean people, and that means forever oppression of North Korean people. What does peace achieve without human rights? People think Kim Jong-un is crazy, he's not logical. Kim Jong-un obviously is not crazy, he's more logical than most of politicians. He's an excellent dictator. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So in this video, I am going to talk about top 3 things that Kim Jong-un wants from the US president and the international community. Number 1, time. Kim Jong-un needs more time to develop higher, more sophisticated nukes and biological weapons. North Korea's weaponry, skill set is of course not anywhere comparable to the US or China and Russia. That is precisely why Kim Jong-un spends almost all his GDP not on things like building hospital or like giving food to people. He uses all the money to build more better nukes each time, better missiles. To do that, he needs time, and he also knows that other presidents in South Korea, America, other countries, because they are not dictators, they're gonna have their turns. In the US, 4 years or 8 years maximum. So as long as he knows if he says the right thing to the current president for 4 to 8 years and say things like, oh yeah, I will eventually give up the nukes, he knows that he can buy that time, and hopefully that the president in the US is gonna be stupid enough to believe Kim Jong-un. The second thing that North Korea wants is lift of sanctions by the UN. This sanction does affect North Korea's consumption of luxury goods. So when Kim Jong-un came into power, and each year he spends around $800 million each year just buying his luxury goods that he wants to consume, like expensive drinks, bags, makeups, like all sorts of stuff that he wants to give out to his lots of girlfriends and his officials. This guy spends almost $1 billion each year for his just entertainment, and while his people, 60% of his population are malnourished. This sanctions is cutting off those things that they prevent North Korea to buy, like Ferrari. They prevent North Korea to buy Gucci bags. They prevent this regime to buy all sorts of luxury that they were consuming before. And that sanction, he wants it to be lifted. The third last thing that Kim Jong-un wants is normalizing relations with the other countries. Right now, because of the sanction, of course, Kim Jong-un only trades with some countries, but mainly China, and other countries cannot really have a trade relationship with North Korea, and he wants to normalize that. So let's go back to first point of how North Korea wants to earn more time. When Trump came into the office, he was very forceful with in his rhetorics. Trump literally called out Kim Jong-un as a little rocket man, and he was bragging that his nuclear weapon, the button, was bigger than North Korea's. So he was warning Kim Jong-un that we are not gonna take this from you, do not threaten us, I'm not going to take it like Obama did. So Kim Jong-un was legitimately scared by Trump, because Trump was not traditional politician whose only interest is keeping the status quo. Trump was coming from business background, and Kim Jong-un himself was not sure where Trump would go with his North Korean policy. So I think that's why Kim Jong-un took a different approach, and he knew how to please Trump, which means writing perfectly beautiful, respectful, all had tons of praise in the letter to, and that letter made Trump to fall in love with Kim Jong-un. And also what Kim Jong-un knows is that he is gonna be forever eternal president of North Korea, while maximum Trump is gonna be 4 more years or will be done 1 to 2 month time. So So therefore, all Kim Jong-un needed was just doing a lot of lip service. In Korean we say it's like some Congress words, like literally say the things that the other person want to hear, but you are not gonna do it. And that's what Kim Jong-un did with Trump. And foolish enough, Trump bought it, and also lying to everyone that he brought a peace to Korean peninsula. There was going to be a war breaking out. Here I really want to emphasize this point where people think Kim Jong-un is crazy, he's not logical. Kim Jong-un obviously is not crazy, he's more logical than most of politicians. He's excellent dictator. It's so sad that he used his energy and intelligence to making things better than making things worse for people and only himself. And because of that, Kim Jong-un knows if he just earns buy time from Trump is gonna get out of the office, and the next president is gonna be like Obama, who just comes in and wants to keep the status quo and who did nothing when it comes to North Korea. And that's what Kim Jong-un wants. He needs more time to develop better nukes. So another one now. Let's move on to the second point of removing sanctions. Sanctions was a hard thing. Trump really put on heavier, sanctions on North Korea, more severe, and tracking down this stuff in the beginning. So that's why also one of the reasons why Kim Jong-un wanted to come out in the conversation table and somehow convince Trump to lift those sanctions. Thankfully, Trump did not lift all those sanctions, but he did not add any more sanctions either. So it wasn't the best thing, but it was better than removing them. Kim Jong-un wants those sanctions lifted because he wants to do whatever he wants. He wants to sell more things, and whenever he makes more money, that doesn't go to people, it goes to his pocket and his regime. And this sanction is not hurting people, even though a lot of people who sympathize with the dictator saying oh, sanctions are only hurting North Korean people. Who do you define North Korean people? If you define North Korean people as Kim Jong-un, that makes sense. But when you define the 99% of the population, it doesn't. If the aid coming from the international community did come to us, I never had to escape. I didn't have to escape at 13 and being sold as a child bride. Because those aid that people in the West send doesn't reach the people who actually needs it, it goes to dictator and the few people who supports him. That is why we are here. All those money and the aid that Kim Dae-jung and Roh Moo-hyun, that both president, the liberal president, sent, that maintained the North Korean regime's life expectancy, and that helped them, enable them building more powerful missiles. So I think we really need to understand how North Korea is not in a normal country. When we give them the supplies, it's gonna reach the people. It doesn't go to people. So these sanctions is absolutely necessary to starve the regime. And during that time, the regime is going to lose the control in the people. That's what exactly they did in the 90s. Because the regime could not afford anything or give out to anything to us, they were letting us to trade in the black markets. That empowered the people. Trading empowered the North Korean women and men. So we were able to, using our own ways to survive and engage in the market. But when the sanction comes, regime doesn't need that. So they are gonna shut down the markets again and then have more severe strict rule on the people. So that sanction cannot be lifted no matter what. And the last point, normalizing relationship with North Korea. The countries like Russia, Putin's Russia, or China, of course, normalize the relationship with North Korea already. But we cannot do that. When you do that, that means you accept North Korea as it is. You accept North Korea with the concentration camps. You accept North Korea with the condition of North Korean people that being treated. But Kim Jong-un, wants that, and that's what Moon Jae-in did. Moon Jae-in was doing everything he could to normalize relations with dictator, and almost it sounds so nice to talk about peace here. Whenever you say word peace, right, you look so morally superior and sounds so nice. And anyone says like, I don't want peace, they look at you, you are some kind of monster. Why would you not want the peace? And I don't know other countries, but when it comes to peace within North Korean context, that means silence of North Korean people, and that means forever oppression of North Korean people. What does peace achieve without human rights? Kim Jong-un went to Hanoi summit with Trump, and Trump said he was going to bring up human rights, but he didn't because he knew that North Korea would not accept that condition. So all these leaders, they won't normalize some kind of, relationship with North Korea, but they don't want to fight for North Korean people. Even though North Korean people, they are the ones paying the price of this dictatorship, not the people in the West. Who suffered the most because of this crazy dictator is the people, 25 million of normal people. And of course I want peace for sure, but I don't want peace that is without justice and righteousness. I just don't think that kind of peace is what we need in this world. And it's gonna kill North Koreans. And that's why I really want Americans to know that when Trump meets Kim Jong-un, that is not a good thing without any preconditions from Kim Jong-un. I mean, I support, of course, peaceful dialogue, but before Kim Jong-un met Trump, he should have gave some real, tangible thing that U.S. wanted, but Kim Jong-un gave nothing. Why? He got the legitimacy from Trump for just zero cost, that he didn't pay for anything, and Trump just went in there because he was so fascinated by this most ridiculous, cartoonish dictator that wanted to meet him, and he got beautiful, perfect photo op. It was completely just all show, and that just didn't help anything with when it comes to North Korean human rights issue. And I think that's what I really want to do within this channel, is I want really people to, we talk about how to think, we talk about critical skills, critical thinking skills. You just talk about world peace and normalizing relationship with North Korea. That all sounds nice, so I'm gonna support that. It's not. It's not that simple when it comes to North Korea. All previous administrations have tried. The one of the policy I was talking about, led by Kim Dae-jung, it's called a sunshine policy. The theory is that there's two men walking on a just street, and they are both wearing a jacket. There's a wind and the sunshine. We're debating who can get them take off their jacket. So first the wind went. He blew the air as much as possible, but it got so cold. This man so were tightening their jacket more and more and more. And then the sunshine came, and he said, okay, if I'm gonna give him just more sun, they're gonna naturally gonna take off their jacket and then come out. And then sunshine did, and then this man took off their jacket. That's what it was. If we give North Korea as much as they want, anything they want, North Korea, you're gonna eventually realize that we are not a threat, and they're going to become a normal country. The difference with North Korea is that North Korea already knows that US is not a threat, and the rest of the world is not a threat. They say that America is a threat to North Korean people because they need that. They need to lie to North Korean people. We need to have nukes. You guys need to be starving. You need to go to military for 10 years because there's an enemy that is trying to attack us. But of course, Kim Jong-un knows that is not true. He knows that America has no intention of driving tanks and occupy North Korea. If they were, they would have gone in many decades ago, but they didn't. That's how much America doesn't want to invade North Korea. But regimes keep lying to people because that is the only way to convince North Koreans to be obedient and maintaining this system. So I know that it's gonna be a lot of people not gonna like it. The word sanction is always negative connotation, and the word peace is always a wonderful thing, and I put it into different contexts. But I really wanna hope having this kind of honest dialogue with you guys, because ultimately this is like what I want people to understand. So we just don't go for like become a cheerleaders when whoever comes in saying I'm gonna sit down with Kim Jong-un and have a lovely chat, because that doesn't achieve actually a real peace and justice. So thank you guys for watching this actually a bit heavy subject, and I look forward to making more videos. So see you next time. Bye.